Hi, how's it going, everyone? My name is Daniel Zhang, and before I get started, I'd first of all like to thank you all for your time and coming out here and listening to what I have for you. Today, we're going to be talking about a possible solution to ending domestic violence. Now, domestic violence is when one member of family acts violently towards any member of a household and poses as a threat. And so today, I came up with a solution that hopefully will end domestic violence here in the state of New Mexico. Now, the current situation with the state of New Mexico, the state of New Mexico, it's one of the highest crimes here in the state, consisting of 33% of all the crimes reported. There were 3,800 filed domestic cases last year, and this year that number went even higher. Now, if you do research, you will see that most of these services for domestic violence are given to women and not men. It helps women cope with it and helps women avoid acting violently and whatnot. But however, these services do not focus on helping out the men who actually are usually the reported cases of domestic violence. I'm not saying that our service would target only men. However, it would give a service to the service to men, which is heavily needed. And then that will in fact lower the crime rate. As you can see on the regional interest chart, in proportion, the state of New Mexico is a lot higher than all the other states. New Mexico leads number one in the country, with Alaska following right behind it. Now, our project is going to be called Love Family, and we have 4 goals in total. So the first one is to spread awareness of domestic violence. Once everyone knows about it and the harms and that it's a real problem here in the state, the bringing awareness will indeed lower domestic violence. And we also will offer services to family dealing with domestic violence. So you know, this means trying to help families cope with it and so that they don't split apart. Generate different ways of reporting domestic violence without starting apart a family. That kind of ties into our second goal. And then lastly, we want to advocate the state government to push all families with domestic violence issues, the ones that were convicted, to attend workshops offered by us. And so that once they have to attend our workshops, we can really reach out to those families and solve the problem. Now, the costs and benefits. We want funding from the state government, and the funding will go to workshops that we set up that will help these families. The funding will also pay for advertisements that will spread information, that will bring awareness, and also how to report it, stuff like that. And lastly, we want to hire lobbyists that will advocate to the state government to give us more money and to make our organization bigger. Bring more support in. And once we have more support, our program will grow bigger, and then more people will be exposed. A lot more men will have the services that are necessary in order for domestic violence rates to go down. All right. So budgets. In total, we want $30,000 a month. And we're gonna split that up evenly into 3 categories. First one is to fund workshops. That's about $10,000 a month. So, doing the research to rent out a place like the Marriott Hotel or the convention center, it's usually about, like a conference room, it's usually about $300 to $1,000. So, if you do the math, that means that we can host over 10 workshops every month. And so that would offer these services, these badly needed services, to society. Advertising. So, to put a public service announcement on a billboard is about $500. To put an ad in the newspaper, $50. And we can also ask networks to mention us in on the news, and then people they watch the news, they hear about us, we're spreading awareness that way. And then lastly, to hire part-time lobbyists. Lobbyists typically, to get a quote, it's about $5,000 per month. And so we can hire 2 lobbyists. They'll go to the state government, or just the city government, and they'll go ahead and try to lobby for our organization to get bigger. So in conclusion, you put A, B, and C together. this service is something that is badly needed in society, and ultimately it will end lower domestic violence here in the state of New Mexico, and hopefully bring that to an end. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you all really take what I offer into consideration. Thank you very much.